So here we go, guys. Division 5 it is. Cramoxus versus Shadowhunter. Sorry for the restart. But yeah, we are going directly into the game. The Division 5 Shadowhunter and Cramoxus in a round of 6. Game number 1. Ocean Office is. 1080p is back. Somehow they... yeah. Streamlabs OBS made a change to the settings where they automatically change your quality when they think that it's what you should do. Like, without, like, and they tick the box automatically as a new function, which is always bad. Like, putting in a new function like that and then automatically applying it to customers is never a good idea. Especially not without, like, having a window telling them. So, that, yeah, especially when it is a small tick box really on the bottom of the screen. Not a good combination. But I found the issue and we are in 1080p now. So, let's enjoy the quality of this game at its best. Because it shouldn't have any frame issues either. It shouldn't have any FPS issues here either. Jalki DP is over here engaging onto Partisanis. And we are on Ocean North. Let's focus on the game again. Let's focus on Cramoxus versus Shadowhunter. 7th Mechanized versus 3rd Guides Mechanized. Sorry for the delay, guys. Allies versus Allies with 2 of the A-tier divisions, I would say. Not quite S-tier. And this is an interesting matchup. We have obviously one of the Sherman divisions, which are at the moment really strong in the hand of Cramoxus. Then we have a division that has a lot of tools, like all the other Soviet tools basically to its disposal in the hand of Shadowhunter. Su-76Is are really nice, T-34s, all of that stuff, all the normal standard infantry you expect. Partizani is pushing forward over here. Shadowhunter up 13-11. We are Vanguard versus Vanguard. And the MCHAs are pushing in. And Jalki DP's coming in as well. Don't quite remember Thursday. Like, it rings a bell, but I don't remember any details anymore. Just remember that, yeah, first Polish Panzerner is not the best division out there. Jalki's getting engaged. Jalki DP is coming in as well. Jalki DPs though, running into 3 Shermans is not a good idea for soft targets. Not a good idea for soft targets at all. They get annihilated out here. That's down here. M2A1 is pushing in. The Perry's following it up. There's a Nikki's over here. Might most likely engage the Partisani. And the 52 here engaging the Guardias in the center. Looks like a good offensive in the south. Let's see what the Sherman has to say about it. And let's see how the northern offensive with the MCHAs of Cramoxus goes. And if Shadowhunter finds a way to deal with it. His idea of dealing with it comes in here now. The big boy is on the battlefield. Su-122S is out here. Down here the MCHAs engaging onto Saperis. Awkward. I have FPS drops today. Not quite sure why. I think because the Nikki's engaging onto Partisanis. Red guy getting engaged, though it's mostly stable. Obviously if you zoom in too fast it's a bit normal that you have a bit of FPS drops, but usually not down to 30. Usually not down to 30. Jalki DP is moving in as well. Maybe they changed something in how recording works in Streamlabs OBS. Maybe some of my other settings changed as well. I will have to check after the stream, but let's hope for now that it stays stable. Well, let's hope for Shadowhunter that he gets this game back under control, because in the north, Cramoxus is breaking through and he's also crushing all the forces up this hill, so Shadowhunter in a lot of trouble. His southern push isn't going anywhere right now. He's now putting in 3 T-34s though. Whilst in the north, he gets absolutely demolished. And a couple of Strelkies coming in will not change anything about that, because they don't deal with Shermans. They just don't deal with Shermans. More Shermans coming in, 4 Kramoxes in the center. And Su-76 engaging onto Amcha. Amcha getting killed. Strelkies coming in over here as well. Shermans would have spotted these infantry guys running at them previously as well. That's not really something. Su-76 moving in here as well. But Rajvetka on the hunt here with its bazooka. Will most likely catch it. Partizani is getting killed off. 50 rupees now under fire. Next Rajvetka unit might make it. We'll see. As the M42 will not achieve anything against Shermans here frontally. Strelkies over here engaging onto Guardias. Sherman is dealing a lot of damage here. So the Shadowhunter on the way to maybe get back to a 1410 when he gets this flag. And his ISU is still alive, so he has potential of holding the north, but he's not really getting anywhere in the south. Rajvetka gets the kill in the south onto the SU. Gets killed off later though. But did it got a kill on second? Yeah, it got the T-34 as well. So 2 kills for the Rajvetka. Paid off there, absolutely now. But it's 2 P3s coming in the north, trying to help out Shadowhunter to get some territory back here. Strelkies though, getting mowed down in the open. The new 50 cal is really not something to joke about, especially when it's also backed up by 2 more Brownings and a 75mm that has solid HE stats as well. MCHAs are absolute beast when it comes to HE output at the moment. And when you have so many like Kamroxes have down here, infantries just don't have a good time whatsoever. The parry coming in over here. Rajvetka's trying to sneak in over here for Kramoxes, and it looks really rough here for Shadowhunter right now. He's under a lot of pressure. Sherman's putting up more pressure in the north, killing all the T-34s, and the T-34 43s really don't trade at all against Shermans. The 75mm of frontal armor is just too easy to penetrate for the Shermans, whilst the other way around, it's a really tough job for the T-34s that also have less accuracy, that also don't have the aim time bonus, so the Shermans also get the first shot all the time. So with all that adding up, you just can't really trade against Shermans with T-34 76s, especially not when you are even numbers. Like, you have to have a 2-to-1 advantage nearly to stand a chance against the Shermans usually. Like 4 versus 2 it works out, or like I guess 6 versus 4 can work out as well. Like +2 usually could do the job. But obviously that's a lot of T-34s that you have to invest into. Down here, infantry from both sides. Tango de Sanikis versus Partizanis, CQC infantry versus CQC infantry. But there is a half track here for Kramoxes. And everything with a 50 cal at the moment is just insanely strong. All of that could need a price increase by 5 points, like Sherman's, half tracks, M8s. Because of how good the 50 cal works out at the moment. Shadowhunter tries to get back in the north. But there's just too much here for Kramoxes by now. And IL-4 is coming in, bombing the infantry push out here in the open. And pushing with infantry over the open just doesn't work here right now. There's just too many Shermans all around the map. You can't do that. As soon as they get spotted, they just get annihilated. P3 bomber coming in, trying to hit the Shermans. Not really achieving too much though. And I think what Shadowhunter should have done should have had been a focus on the middle with an ISU 122 from the get-go. Trying to win the open, trying to bait the Shermans out into the open with the and then killing them off with the ISU. Because in the CQC fights, the Shermans obviously are good with the aim time bonus, and you can't fight them really on an infantry level because the third guy's mechanized already has good infantry, and that backed up by the strength of Shermans in CQC really is a bad combo. But Redguard running onto the Sherman, getting into range here. Sherman disengaging. This Sherman will most likely go down, but I don't think Shadowhunter is in a place where he can really recover in this game anymore. He just lost too much by now. He's losing too much to Shermans too easily. Sherman over here now trying to get a flank attack on. And yeah, beating Shermans overall on this map is a tough job. Absolutely agree there with Rabbit. With them in the state they're in at the moment. I think Saniki is sitting in the forest. Shermans absolutely could go up to 70 points now, I think. Or maybe Eugen dials back the power of the 50 cal a bit again. Like both. Would be a nice option. U-3476 engages onto White Redka. Yeah, they are getting engaged by Stalky DP. Because before, I think Sherman at 65 points was pretty decent. It was a good tank, but now it just mows down stuff so quickly. It's insane how good the 50 cal is versus infantry. More spell TDP coming in. Third guard's mechanized versus 7th is the matchup. 7th mechanized corp. More ISUs coming up. Yeah, really, these would have been needed earlier. Oh no, now he loses them because he doesn't have any protection around them anymore. 2 Guardias throwing AT grenade onto them. P3 coming in onto the Sis 2 in the north. But there's still 2 more Shermans in the forest here. More P3s coming in. And Croxus is still on the 17-7. And 17-7 should be enough here for him to clean this game out. Guardia under attack by the bombers. Air control is still something in the hands of Shadowhunter, but I don't think it will be enough. The P3 will do a solid job, but especially now with the ISU in the north down, I don't think there's too much he can do right now. Automachiki is trying to rush onto the Yamcha, but getting stopped by the immense firepower. T-34 goes down. Another P3 coming in. P2 now coming in. Hitting the Yamchas. But yeah, it's really hard to kill them with infantry right now. Especially with infantry that doesn't have a bazooka or a Panzerschreck. Like with those it's still absolutely possible, but with everything else, trying to get into 100 meter range against Shermans is a tough job. And now we have Shermans over here, SU-85s in the center. It looks rough. It looks really rough right now for Shadowhunter. Doesn't look like a game he can easily win. Or even recover into a state where it becomes a close game anymore. Because really the Shermans stay unopposed. Like these 2 Shermans could just come up and deal with this T-34 as well. And he has just so much in the north against only infantry on the side. Oh, we have Rajvetgas on the side of Shadowhunter. Interesting. Interesting that he didn't use them earlier. Maybe he had them in B phase. If so, that was a mistake. I thought he might not have them in his deck. But yeah, I think that's the best way of dealing with Shermans in territory like this. And yeah, as you can see, they absolutely do that job. Rajvetgas both still getting out alive. Getting the kill there. And that makes the flank in the north actually manageable. I thought he only had Automachikis here. Okay, the Rajvetgas help out a lot. That's actually decent anti-tank capabilities there for him. But he still lost so much lately. Killed one SU-85 in the center. And the second one also falls to the T-34. So good kills there for Shadowhunter. Now trying to move in with another with the second ISU 122 into the center. When the L4 of Kramoxis might be in trouble here. Might be in trouble. Denisov will try to get behind that, and Denisov usually gets behind stuff. Not so this time though. I'm not quite sure what Denisov is doing here. Doesn't look quite alright though. But trying to get behind the L4. Sherman falls to the ISU 122. And Denisov should try to get behind the P-39 now. Where is Denisov going? Okay. Yeah, angle of attack is something that should be a bit higher for planes. I think with this slight increase there, air fights should become a bit more interesting. The moment it's a bit too narrow. SU-76 over here is firing onto the infantry and not into the MCHA. It looks like it should fire onto the MCHA, but it's firing HE round actually. The P-39 now stays around. Denisov disengaged because there's an AA now, and the P-39 actually is pretty solid in strafing, so the infantry of Shadowhunter is in trouble in the south. Redcast shouldn't engage against an SG-43. Yeah, it needs T-34s right now for Shadowhunter, but I don't think he has too many left till T-Phase. And he actually loses the one in the south as well, and right in the moment where he starts to somehow try to get his way back in the north, his south completely collapses. And yeah, the MCHA is just way too cost efficient in this game. Too many infantry units just thrown at them. And that just doesn't work out. Not playing to his strengths here, not trying to figure out how to deal with third mechanized. And Kramoxis just uses the power of the Shermans on the right position. And it looks like game number 1 is basically over. 50 seconds on the clock. I don't think there is much to change about that. Sherman down here gets killed as well, and yeah, that's what he should have done from the get-go. ISUs control the open field, get these flags, and try to win that way. I think that should have been Shadowhunter's run from the get-go. The ISU 122S is the big advantage that you have over 3rd Guards mechanized. They will really struggle of dealing with it, and you can control the open spaces of Orsha. Going for the CQC fights on Orsha against the 3rd Guards mechanized that has so many tools for CQC, that has the Shermans, that has the Partisanis, and so on, is not the best idea, and in the end, Shadowhunter pays the price for it. With Kramoxis taking game number 1 in a pretty clean fashion. Like 350 points ahead in the kill-death ratio. And a lot of points. Quick victory, 7 minutes 55. GGBP here to Kramoxis in game number 1. Well, but Panzer IV really sucks at dealing with anything lighter. And whilst Sherman just annihilates everything like below it, like M42s and so on, Vincent. Only because something kills Shermans, it shouldn't be the same price as Shermans, because you also have to see the other traits. So I think Shermans being 20 points more expensive because they annihilate infantry, whilst Panzer IVs don't, and they are immune to light T-guns, whilst Panzer IV aren't, I think would be absolutely fair. What we're saying, so yeah, we'll be back in 3 minutes with game number 2. We'll try to set it up quickly. So now we return to the segment where we don't ask what the tournament can do for you, but what you can do for the tournament. And that is pretty easy. Go to Matcherino via !Matcherino in the chat and use the lovely code that is Sherman to add 50 cents to the prize pool for free. No other things needed. And then 50 cents pop up here and the players will get more money. At the moment, we have a nice payout of 80 bucks for the winner of Division 1. And the winner of Division 5 also gets 25 bucks. So that is what the players over here fight over. Obviously, there is no second place or third place prize pool for anything below Division 1. With second place in Division 1 taking 50 bucks. So there's still a high incentive to go up there if you want to get the money. But it's not for nothing here, the games we see here. It's still for the chance of 25 bucks and obviously for the chance of getting closer to Division 1 in the future. Other ways of supporting it are here on the right side by just visiting links. For example, this one. Click on that one. I can't do so because I am not in America. But this one, for example, or if you're not in America, these up here. Add a couple of cents to the prize pool for free. !Matcherino in the chat gets you there. So here we return into game number 2. And it is a Krupa game, guys, so be warned, at some point in this game I might fast forward, because it's Krupa after all. And what we have here is a really interesting matchup. It's an Axis versus Axis, and I understand the pick of Chromoxis here on the left. I understand the 17th with Balanced. But what I don't understand is Shadowhunter's pick. Like, I understand the division, maybe. Though I'm not the biggest fan of 4th Munter, I don't think it's too high in the power level right now. But that is because it's A-Phase this week. So, I have no clue why he plays it with Vanguard. Like, in a division that is absolutely horrible in the early game and pretty decent in the late game. Because it gets all its tool there. Why play Vanguard? I don't fully understand that. But let's see, maybe he shows that I'm wrong. Maybe I don't understand fully how 4th Munter works. And he gives me the gameplay that I wanted. But yeah, he's limited to these when it comes to tanks. And Krupa is a map where armored support for getting the bridges is necessary. Like, okay, maybe he does an all-out infantry push over the river. So that may be his idea, but I don't think that works out. Like, the only division I managed to do that with was Koruk, and that was with heavy air support. And 4th Munter has a solid air type, but it's not amazing. Like, it's not Ju-87 D5s coming from everywhere, like in Koruk. And on the other side, also 17th SS can deal with air forces pretty easily, so I don't think that's really an option either. So yeah, Vanguard with a division that I think is really good in chilling, putting up good AT guns, support guns, waiting for its Panzer Force and recon vehicles and B and C phase, and bring also good artillery to the battlefield on the baseline of cheap infantry. I think it's the wrong way around to play the Vanguard. So, yeah, here we go. Here we go. R35s absolutely are adorable, and they are helpful in defending early on against infantry pushes and so on. But they're no tool to push with. Not just because they have abysmal frontal armor, but also because they have an abysmal speed of 30 kilometers per hour. So they will be in the line of fire for forever once they get in there. And yeah, the other thing, when you play against 17th SS, the enemy has tractions. So he's in there first anyways. So playing Vanguard against that, when the enemy also gets faster into good positions, ain't an easy task, I think. Ain't an easy task. And you can see Kramoxis really wants to rush the river here. Wants to get over all the bridges basically here. Which might be an overextension. Like, I think that might be Shadowhunter's chance actually here. Seeing Kramoxis overextend, trying to be too overeager in A phase, and trading not good enough so that his combined arms totally falls apart. But other than that, I think it will be a tough battle just when it comes to the divisions and the income for Shadowhunter. And ooh, this pack is going way too deep there. That should have been unloaded over here and then maybe pushed up manually over the open field. Mandatory Setsutari, another really good defensive tool here. Double snipers with 5 men, like a really, really good unit. But you can't win a game with them alone. So yeah, only having them alone in A phase, not the biggest fan of that. And 2 MG42s also have more firepower than one of these. And that we see here. So the first mandatory Setsutari goes down. And as it also doesn't hold frontline, this flag falls to Kramoxis. But in the north, he overextended a bit. Yeah, Shadowhunter got over the river, killed a couple of units here already. And the Stuk comes in a moment where Shadowhunter is in a good position to most likely deal with it. Good move from Kramoxis to move it a bit further away from the buildings, but his SS Legionaries and Flammenwerfers will be overrun most likely. Breda over here losing out against MG42, and we have some J87 and some IRs, so air support is on the way for Shadowhunter. And yeah, I like that as well. But, as I said, like... Kramoxis is really overeager here. I really don't like this move with the 233E and the Suk force over the river. I think that is punishable. Shadowhunter haven't found a way how to do that just yet. And is again a bit overeager in running onto tanks with infantry. That doesn't really work out since the MG buff anymore. Luckily for him, Stuks don't really excel when it comes to MG fire because they only have one of them. And the mandatory Dakari gets the kill there with its Panzerschreck. But still, there was a lot of lost infanteristi there. Needlessly lost infanteristi at that point. Or that kill. The mandatory Dakari could have just done that way easier. But he keeps the pressure up. He is over the river at some point in a pretty good force. And if he can punish Kramoxis for this move here, if he can do that, I think he has a good chance of actually getting it with Vanguard 4th Monte. Question is, can he really do that? IRs coming in here with 50 kilogram bombs. These don't do insane damage, but they pin down infantry units quite well and deal also assault damage against those. And the really good thing about 50mm is the reload time. But this one might not have the chance to come back onto the battlefield as the ME-109 gets behind it, gets the shutdown, and then dives out of here. On its way back. Good kill there by Kramoxis, putting a dent into the air forces of Shadowhunter. ME-109 should run out of this fight. Firepower of the IR is a bit bigger. And the ME-109 is a bit faster, so you actually can get out of there easily. And that's what Kramoxis is doing right now. Shadowhunter now up to a 1410 due to his push in the north. Losing infantery over here though. A bit needlessly again. Like, too much stuff running over the open. That's my biggest criticism so far of Shadowhunter in Game 1 and Game 2. Infanteristy getting engaged by 2-3-1s. 1311. 1311 obviously not enough, but he has a bridgehead. And yeah, as soon as he can punish this would be really, really nice. But Arm 35 is getting slaughtered up here. Yeah, you really don't... I think that's the wrong idea here by Shadowhunter. Like, oh yeah, the enemy has tanks. I need tanks to deal with that. Is the wrong idea. Arm 35s don't deal with tanks. Arm 35s are basically your armored infantry unit. They're an armored slow infantry unit. That's how you should see them. With a really lovely skin. Like, the skin is just so good. This is a real piece of art. That should be in the Louvre and not on the battlefield here, but sadly for it, it is. And the chances of an Arm 35 surviving a battle till the end are slim, so I fear this piece of art will get destroyed at some point. Yeah, but his Predators engaged the wrong targets. His Predators engaged MG42s in range of the MG42s, so the MG42s actually dealt pretty well with them. Volksdeutsche also in range of the Predator, so might not end too well for the Predator here. Though in that engagement it has a chance, because it's only one MG34 firing. Yeah, this one it wins, but against an MG42, it usually doesn't stand a chance. And Moxus is now the one going up to 1410 as he pushes in here. Also puts up the pressure in the south. Too many units being shown by Shadowhunter. Really, the biggest issue of Shadowhunter in these games is his infantry movement through the open. Too many times infantry units just lose either completely or go down to like half strength due to the pathing Shadowhunter gives them. And a 16-8 for the guy with the balanced in A phase. It looks rough for Shadowhunter here, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. 1410 now for Chromoxus. 29 minutes. Mandatory de Monte coming in here. Infanterist and Hotchkiss coming in. And IAR 81 VP in the skies. Quite a bomber. On its way onto the 233, I think? Oh no, onto the way onto the infantry. Volksdeutsche both getting pinned down. Back to 1311. But the 1311 for Chromoxus is still mighty fine for him. And this is the issue here for Shadowhunter. He has to try to take ground, and like really, I think he should have taken flatline. It's Grouper. And I know you don't want to play Grouper long, but if you don't want to play Grouper long, then don't play Fourth Munte. Because Fourth Munte just is a really tough sell for Vanguard. IR here getting shut down by Flak Feeling, so the AA now also taking its toll by Chromoxus, and so far his trades are just way better. Now the HS-129 comes in, but it doesn't have any air support anymore because the IAR went down. The ME-109s are hot on its tail, and if he loses that, that would be really rough. Oh, and it looks like it. He doesn't have any air support, he doesn't have any AA. The HS-129 in a world of trouble. ME-109 getting ever closer. Can it get out? Ooh, no. There it goes. HS-129 crashes to the ground. And this is another really tough trade here for Chromoxus. Brings it back to a 12-12, but he is under such heavy pressure in the north. And such heavy pressure in the center. Send in a JU-87D3 when there's two ME-109s around. I'm not quite sure what that move was all about. Because the ME-109 easily should be able to take that one down. And the second one, ME-109 ignores it. So it was only bait after all. Two IRs coming out, killing both ME-109s. So good trades there. Good trades there. The JU-87D5 survives. Pretty close, but it survives. Good bait. Good bait. But Chromoxus still have till 1311, so that doesn't make anything easier. $59 now for Chromoxus. or the Munde going down. Well, I don't think it's wasting points in the air. I think he's much more wasting points on the ground, and that's why he can't afford the air. But I don't think the air is wasted, I just think he can't afford it, which is the issue. Because he just threw too much, like he just trades so horribly on the ground. But I think the air is the only way to victory here. So he has to get it, but the thing is he has to keep his stuff on the ground alive for longer. Like, air plus artillery, I think, are the only ways to victory here in this matchup. With infantry, like, being pretty even, but if you don't let your infantry fight infantry, but let them fight against 2-3-3s, 2-3-1s, and co. all the time, then it is a pretty rough match. As I'm no longer in the strike team anymore, I have no clue whatsoever. I have no clue whatsoever. 2-3-1 engaging onto infantry in the north, and there's nothing left here for Shadowhunter. So this game looks really, really rough as we are on B phase. So the income advantage Shadowhunter has, he has thrown that away and more, like, because he's way behind on the battlefield. So he lost 300 points plus in this game so far, because he played a division that is just not there for being played offensive. It doesn't have enough offensive tools in A phase. Now your tools that can be used offensive come in, your Panzer 4Hs, but they don't have anything to back up anymore. There's no infantry left on the battlefield, there's no recon units, snipers on the battlefield anymore, there's no AT guns, there's no mandatory Dakar left anymore. So I just don't see a way here for Shadowhunter to get back into game number 2 and make this a series. Really knocking himself out more than his enemy does by just picking a division that I like. Like, I think the 4th Munde pick can work out here on Krupa in this matchup. But just not with Vanguard. Just not with Vanguard. Well, yeah, but you have enough artillery tools, Rabbit, that you can deal with the AA, and then you can come back in. And there's not unlimited AA for 17th, so you can do with that. You can, like, use your 60mm mortars and so on to deal with the Flak 36s, and then just come in with the bombers. Like, the artillery plus airplay is the thing here for Shadowhunter that he should have gone for in a balanced kind of manner. Instead he went for mass infantry without really having good infantry control. Like, it doesn't play to his strengths either. Just amassing infantry when your infantry pathing is not good isn't the winning strategy. I think we have seen way better games from Shadowhunter in the group stage, and it's a bit of a shame that game number 1 went how it went, with him, like, choosing the wrong strategy, and looks like in game number 2 he also mostly loses because of wrong strategies so far. It's not completely over and out yet. I think he maybe can trade well enough with Chromoxis, like, makes a lot of mistakes, but it's like a really tough sell here to try to be on Shadowhunter's side and say, yeah, he is the one winning here. Though a lot of Panzer IVs can do miracles, so let's see how it goes. Sending J87 into spaces with AA, though, is never a good idea. This J87 is basically dead. Luckily for it, the Flak 36 doesn't have any veterancy, but even that might not be the saving grace here. Maybe it is. It's close. It's close. J87 actually gets out, because it's only a Flak 36, not a Flak 43, and it has no veterancy. And the Flak killing only got a bit of a slight salvo out, didn't get enough fire onto it. But still, like, really, really risky business. Don't send J87s against any AA basically, but especially not against 37mm. And not alone. Like, if you send like 3 J87s and then, like, hope that the enemy doesn't micro them, doesn't focus fire one, okay, maybe. But by now, in B phase and C phase, you only want to use J87s either in, like, big fleets, big air fleets coming out, big strong force showing up at once, or in combination with artillery, like artillery silencing the enemy's AA, and then coming in there with the J-87 to either finish off the AA or hit other targets with it. Even with the cluster J-87s, it's risky here at this point. Or the ground attacking ones, but with the bombing ones that have like a 2-second animation on top of all of their attack runs, it's nigh impossible to drop a bomb as soon as AA hits the field. Shadow Hunter coming in with infantry, with more tanks in the north. I don't know what the pick order or ban order was here, Tosdi. Sadly wasn't able to catch any games live yet and ask that way. Wait, and I forgot to ask these guys. Yeah, don't know who got... But yeah, no, Shadowhunter got to choose which player he is, but I don't know which one he chose. Like if he did choose to be player 1 or player 2. So Panzer IVs eliminate the first Jagdpanzer, which is already pretty lucky, considering the Jagdpanzer's frontal armor. Second one will be a bit tougher. Obviously they are in okay range, so they have chances of... And 3 versus 1 they should be able to kill the Jagdpanzer at some point. But yeah, first Panzer IV goes down, but they get the Jagdpanzer after all. J-87 cluster bomber though on the way of ending these guys' whole career. Drops its clusters, kills the Panzer IVs both. And yeah, like Shadowhunter somewhat stabilized and like finally punished Chromoxis for his overextensions. But he just doesn't have enough power left in his deck. Like, yeah, sure, right now they are even, but we are so close to C-Phase, and in C-Phase, I just don't see how Shadowhunter can get out of this. I just don't see it. J-87 and IR-81's in disguise now. IR getting fired upon. Like feeling. Yeah, that's how you use J-87 at this point. Bring in a couple of them. Then most of them should make it out. So he doesn't hit the AA, and oh no, this one is... I don't know where this one is going, but... I think I know where it's heading. It's heading down. And yeah, there we go. J-87 on its way down. Landing on the riverbank here. Panzer IV is all down now. Stuck coming in. Ooh, nearly getting the side shot there. That would have been nice for Shadowhunter. Not quite getting it though, and he hasn't gotten much out of Chromoxis' health bar yet. And that one with us heading into C-Phase is really not a good thing. But you can see how strong 4th Munte is in B and C-Phase now. And that's why I said, like, play it balanced. Mobile wagons coming in. Pioneers coming in. Or like, if you're really worried about it not having enough in A-Phase, not having enough resources, maybe even play it V for victory. Against a balanced opponent. But... I think balance is really how you should play it at the moment. With V4 Victory still needing a slight boost to its power to be useful, really. Stock 4 gets killed. Yeah, you can see how well this division runs in B and C phase. So, like, relying on A phase... kind of a sad story here, really. But I think this game could have been a really interesting game, even for a grouper game. But right now, it really looks like a real slow death animation by now for Shadowhunter. VM Pioneer is getting engaged. Well, yeah, that's the whole point, though, of V for Victory, that it has little in phase. But the issue is that it has too little overall, that it catches us up too late with balanced and so on in C phase. Like, I like the base idea though. Like, having a weak B phase is the base idea, so maybe it should be a bit stronger there and get like a couple points there, or it should like just get a faster catch up in C phase. Stoke force hitting the ground on multiple stages, so like, yeah, we get a lot of Stoke force coming in now in the north. But always crossing this bridge is always not easy at all. Like, I much rather would push in the center or in the south if I would be Chromoxus, because this bridge looks like it's so close to the front line, it's a short bridge and so on and so you think like, oh yeah, that's easy. But the enemy on both sides has a lot of positions from where he can attack it easily. But I think the center is easier to capture in the late game. Actually, sure, you have to go also deeper there to get flags, but even that I don't think it's too much of an issue. Other than maybe getting AA cover, and like that's, I think, the biggest minus for the center, that the enemy, because you have to go a bit deeper, the enemy has a bit easier time hitting it from the skies. Like, this is always such a meat grinder. And so often is like a Pyrrhic victory or no victory at all for the guy who invests into pushing there. HS 1 to 9 getting engaged here. 8750 coming in. Going down though. Matcherino the Monte getting killed over here. Well, then it would be insane. That would be absolutely broken rabbit. Having more in A than Vanguard and having more in C than anyone else. Like, nah, that would be... At that point, everyone would be V for victory. At that point, everyone would do V for victory. Stoke 4, engaging Mother. It just needs, like... It's 5 to 10 points that it needs split out. I think like 10 points split out over its faces. And the Grenadiers moving forward. I think I would give it 5 points in B, 5 points in C from where it is right now. Like, giving it 10 points more than balanced in C phase. And then giving it a bit more in B phase. Maybe. So that doesn't get absolutely destroyed in B phase. Page 75. That will still obviously fall against Maverick most of the time. Matcherino the Monte pushing through the forest. I think that's how I would go. AA fire from Shadowhunter coming up. Another AA coming in over here. Stoke's holding the ground. Infantry is here for Shadowhunter. Comes in with more Panzer Force. And it's a stalemate, and yeah, all we have to see now is Chromoxus slowly but surely waiting it out and just winning because he has more numbers. So yeah, basically this game here is over. I don't think there will be much happening from here on out. Yeah, sure, Shadowhunter goes up to 1311, but he has to go all out. He has to like just go all out aggression right now. And ooh, this is tough. Don't know if he... I think he unloaded that to them. Yeah, this is rough. Off map now killing the AA here. 1311 for Shadowhunter, but artillery now coming in. Off map is here for Chromoxus. He has better tanks. He has most likely more tanks and like a lot of good AT as well. When his tank is built for balanced, whilst Chromox's Shadowhunter's most likely isn't. So also the infantry numbers might be in favor of Chromox's. And this off-map looks nicely well placed as well. So yeah, Chromox's can allow 1311 to occur here, but yeah, we will not see Shadowhunter stay on top here for another 27 minutes. There's just no way. Like, sure, sometimes we see awkward games in Division 4 and Division 5 where, like, someone comes back because the other guy messes up one part of its army so badly that the other guy can just exploit it for the rest of the game because the other player also doesn't really find a solution for that, but Chromoxis doesn't look like the guy who would allow that, and on the other side, usually those games are a bit closer than what we have right here. Both from what is on the board, like, and what is, like, coming up. The Legionaries pushing into the laboratory, the Monte. LTVMs. Panzer Track pushing in, so they might actually get a kill here. Onto the Stoke. Yeah, the Stokes are a bit out of position. I don't know why Chromoxis did that. Like, playing a bit needlessly aggressive when he only needed to play 100% defense here. Gives Shadowhunter actually a numerical advantage up here right now. Storm Pioneers coming up, Flak 41 coming up. Yeah, losing the Stuk force like that was pretty stupid. like that was really unnecessary. Like, yeah, Chromoxis doesn't need to be aggressive. We don't, like, first of all, we don't have a time limit, and second of all, even if there would be a time limit, he doesn't really need to because he's already ahead. He only needs to bring it back to a 12-12 at that point. So, like, even with a time limit, the game strategies here wouldn't change too much from just all-out defense for Chromoxis being the best thing. Because he got so far ahead in A phase. IR's trying to come in. Oh no! Oh my god! What? Oh, he just blew up his own unit there. Storm Pioneer is not getting surrender here. Oh, he just blew up his own Storm Pioneers there. With the 150mm. Oof! More Stuk 4s on the way. Panzer 4 engaging onto the like feeling. The Panzer 4 over here is engaging as well. 1311 here for Shadowhunter. Yeah, but there's not too many tanks here either for Shadowhunter. It's not like he has 4 or 5 Panzer 4s here that can exploit breakthrough. South is still stable, center is also, with both sides, not really in a position to do anything. And Chromoxis even, Shadowhunter even has artillery in his deck. 3 105mm now show up. So yeah, as I said, like, this deck has good artillery availability. This deck has a lot of Panzer 4s from B phase onwards. And it has a lot of infantry, and it has a solid air tab with okay AA as well, so, like with the mobile wagons and so on. So, it's really a balanced deck. It's really a balanced deck. It just doesn't have anything, because it has so much that is phase limited to B and C phase, so I just don't see why Shadowhunter did choose the path he did choose. Like, really, he I mean, I don't know if I wanted to see a group balance versus balance game, but I think the game would be closer if so. Because right now, 14-10 is happening. And I really want to cheer here for Shadowhunter and, like, see him playing against insane odds After even messing up the early game advantage heavily, and now it's somehow coming back. I would like to see that, obviously, even though if that would involve a lot of messing up from Tremoxis as well. But even with him having a 14-10 right now, I just don't see it. I just don't quite see it. Recruiting engaging Panzer Grenadiers. Artillery coming in from Shadow Hunter. Onto the 150mm. That's good idea to getting into recruiting over here. More of them pushing through up in the north. The 87D3 coming in. That's Grenadiers joining them as well. And the 1311 continues. Here we go. Bombs drops on Shadowhunter's forces. Yo, he just spends 140 points into killing off 100 points of... Like he can trade 150 points into 100 points of Shadowhunter and still come out ahead. Most likely even having enough in his deck to afford that. Like, enough more in his deck, enough depth to just go on with that as well. So, like, he doesn't even have to trade 100 versus 100. He can trade really shitty from now on out and still come out ahead. So it's just such an uphill battle right now for Shadowhunter. Even with his artillery support and his air stuff coming in here. Which are his best two options of victory, but as I said, like with balance that would work out better. Again, he could afford more artillery. Also, the 3 recruiting back here are a bit shameful. That's good. Recruiting all over, built on the run. Another off-map coming in here. Procromoxes, and that might bring him back to a 12-12. And as soon as we're back to a 12-12, this game is basically over. This game is basically over. Maybe Cromoxis has to invest into a bit more artillery to counter-battery these guys. Don't know if that's what his artillery piece is doing right now. Set on 2 counter-battery. Stokes now under fire. Bit annoying here for Cromoxis. Might actually go down over time here. 105mm do some damage. And there's still quite a couple of Panzer IVs and Martyrs left here. So I think the number is pretty low by now in the deck of Tremoxis. He sent quite a, of Shadowhunter, he sent in quite a couple. But you don't get too many Stuk 4s. Like only 3 cards of Stuks as well as Cromoxis. I don't know if he has another card of Jagdpanzers. Like that's what I do. With balanced 17th SS, I have my Stuks all in A and B, and then in C phase play with 2 cards of Jagdpanzer 4s. But so far we only have seen 1 card, and that looked like a B phase card. So that might have 1 more left. Maybe it was even an A phase card, and then he doesn't have any left. SK-18's coming in here as well. So Cromoxis bring in more artillery and slowly but surely pushing it back the north. Also trading out pretty good now. Off maps not the most amazing, but still pretty good off maps. And it's not like Shadowhunter is building up a force in the south or anything like that. The air units will be annoying. A couple more Flak 41s maybe would be nice. Like 1 or 2 more. Like 36 over here engaging the 87. Another thing that I miss on both sides is a commander. At this point, like at a 34-minute game, you should have had a commander coming in at some point. Overall, also the amount of leaders on the battlefield is really low. And AA really gets so much better when it gets a commander nearby. Like that's why I brought it up right now. Infantry number in the north still favors Shadowhunter, and if Cromoxis sends in his Stokes 1 by 1 against the Martyrs, I don't like that idea either. Gets 1 Martyr killed here though with his Stok. Artillery guns try to fire onto it. More SK-18s coming up. Look No engaging the other Martyr, I think. Not getting a penetration there, getting killed off on the return. Yeah. Like, Croxus really traded badly in the beginning of Sea Phase, so that's why Shadowhunter still has a significant force left on the battlefield, but it starts to shift again, and the forces of Croxus start to grow and grow, and as he only needs one more flag, and he needs to still has 18 minutes time for that, I just don't see it here. I just don't see it. Yeah, Martyr, SU-76s and so on are pretty nice now, with the 10 hit points in anti-tank, and like, they don't, it's, I think they're in a good position because they're like a really good cheap option of dealing with tanks, but if the enemy has anti-tank guns and so on, they are not a good offensive tool, and like, they also don't deal too well with infantry, so it's, yeah, it's a really nice thing, a really nice addition, and yeah, now the SK-18 do what they are doing best, being counter battery units, because they're so accurate. And with the artillery park of Shadowhunters starting to bite the dust, I think the game is doing so as well. Even though he's still at, if he gets a 59 here, maybe he still can do it. Like, Kramox is really not trading too hot lately, losing more Stuck Force here. It's insane how many Stuck Force. Like, really, the Stuck 4 micro is what is putting Kramoxus maybe in jeopardy here. Like, wow, it's actually going up to a 59 here for Shadowhunter 37 minutes into the game. Like, more than 10 minutes after Kramoxus got the income advantage, with Kramoxus being more than 550 points ahead by now in points on the battlefield, after getting more than 300 points in trade ahead in the A phase. Like, Shadowhunter basically got like 1000 KD difference turnaround from where we were in A phase. That's how many points Kramoxus hammered into him here needlessly in the northern part of the flag. But it's back to a 14-10. Which shows you like how you have to respect your opponent all the time. Like, even if you have a big income advantage, just sending stuff in doesn't win you the game. You still have to manage them. You still have to find an efficient way, and just sending in Stuck Force into CQC is not an efficient way of using them. Using SK-18s though on counter battery is a pretty efficient way, and by now the artillery park of Kramoxus has all but disappeared. One 105mm gun remaining, but that's a lot of points dead. IAR under fire over here. Flag 41 helping out, keeping that at bay. Well, Wagen though might be able to shut down the ME-109. Vickers 75mm coming in. 14 minutes remaining on the clock. Yeah, if you would invest into a push elsewhere, Kramoxus could do it, but both sides just are like, hey, I want to get the north, I want to get that bridge. And so, yeah, both sides are all out on that. And yeah, Kramoxus is just not taking the right fights here. Just being too overeager and trying to get this one flag here, these two flags back into his collection. And using units in subpar condition with that. And then you somehow trade only 1 to 2 instead of 1 to 1.5, which would be the okay rate. And if that happens, then you somehow start to still not get ahead. Panzer IV goes down here though now. Next Panzer IV gets engaged by Stokes. And the Stokes should win this duel. Yeah, Panzer IV gets penetrated. Panzer IV trying to disengage. We'll get shot one more time from this Stoke over here though. That one doesn't hit, but the other one hits, and the Panzer IV goes down. And that's only one Panzer IV remaining in the north and a lot of infantry, but there's also quite a bit of infantry coming in now here for Chromoxes. We'll most likely bring it back to 1311 in a second with the flag over here. Stone Pioneers on the way. It's insane how much he really hammers into the north, but now with the artillery park set up and so on, yeah, it looks like the beginning of the end here. I think you can sing anti-flag song here. This is the end for you, my friend. Recruity getting hit. Getting killed off. 1311 continues. And more forces coming in the north. This Legionaries, Panzer Grenadiers, a lot of Stuck 4s, a lot of artillery. And I think the artillery is really what will for sure allow this time to push to actually be a success. Because he can soften up the positions before he goes in. And then just run over units falling back. The units fighting back. IR-81s and HS-129s coming in over here. One of them actually getting a Stuck that was in an absolutely awkward spot. No clue how it got there. HS-129 under fire. And this Volksdeutsche actually might get the flag over here and bring it back to a 12-12. Artillery guns all over the north, doing their job, trying to kill off the Mobilwagen, on a good way to doing so already. Mobilwagen took quite a heavy beating here, and the other artillery piece pinned down all the units over here, but now hits its friendly fire. But we are back to a 1311 for Chromoxes, and I think there's no, yeah, there's like, sure, there's units coming up here for Shadowhunter, but he has no aggressive power over here, and I think that's this point where I start to fast forward through the rest of the game, because no way Shadowhunter is coming back into this one. Like, Stuck 4s as a defensive tool up here is absolutely fine. Artillery hitting this position is also pretty good. Stuck 4s still fall, but there's another one back here. There's the artillery fire all over this place. Last try with the half-tracks, but the artillery just aiming onto the river crossing destroys a lot of forces. Panzer IV still do a good job, but it's still a 12-12. ME-109's coming in, going down actually, as there's two Mobilwagons. Artillery helping out here, and 4 more Stuck 4s on the way. Together with Flak 41s will stop any further push of the tanks, and the infantry just can't do the push anymore with all the artillery raining down on it. Mobilwagen going down, and this is the beginning of the end. And you absolutely have to blame Chromoxes for making this game as long as it was. Like, having such bad trades. Like, yeah, he got so far ahead in A phase with Shadowhunter just having the wrong strategy here, but Shadowhunter stayed in. Shadowhunter got good trades, like took every trade that Chromoxes offered for him in the later stage of the game and tried to stay in here for as long as possible, even getting back to 1311 once more back here. But there's just too much against him. All his tanks are hammered now. It's interesting how deep people build their Vanguard decks. Like, yeah, no time limit really made us do awkward stuff. Like, why is there still many Panzer IVs and half-tracks still remaining? But here we go, surrender by Shadowhunter. And GG VP to Chromoxes, who in the end even has the better KD by just smashing the last push there of Shadowhunter. But Shadowhunter really nice catch up through the game, still well played by him, just really the wrong... Like, if that would have been backed by a balanced income in C-Phase, that push, he would have won the game with it. But with the income discrepancy there was just no way he could hold up to Chromoxes with all the artillery and so on. So, GGVP to Chromoxes, who will move on to the semifinals as the first player in Division 5. And we will go into the second match of today in 5 minutes. So, yeah, we'll update Shalom in that break. See you all guys in 5 minutes with game number 2. so here we return. Game number 2. Will be God Emperor vs. Villager, the winner against Sir Daniels. Let's see who is the 4th guy to make it to the semifinals out of these 2 guys. And we are getting another Exus vs. Exus, which I'm really looking forward to. With Villager on the left side in blue here, giving us the 21st Panzer. On the right side in red, using a division with the best anti-tank gun for dealing with the big boys, with playing 122nd, with this lovely beast already coming in here in the form of the Pack 43 group, the God Emperor. So that should be pretty interesting. That should be really interesting because the God Emperor is playing Vanguard. I don't know how good 122nd is with Vanguard. I think you have to use their Air Force for that. The J-87 D5s for some good strafing runs, maybe. And then push with that. The infantry, the some Pozoids and so on are good. So, yeah, I can see potential there. But obviously, they deal well with King Tigers. But against normal medium tanks, they have a bit more of an issue. The Krupp down here should do a good job of holding this territory. I don't think we will see an early game King Tiger with a balanced Villager. Yes, really interesting pick here by the God Emperor with 122nd. Division that we more often see in terrible division tournament than in League, to be quite frank with you. I would also rather put it into C tier or so not in the tier where you usually see the divisions picked from, with like S, A, and B being the tiers where the divisions that are played in regularly in the league are positioned. C just, yeah, it is a solid division, but it just doesn't have anything great to offer. Like, you don't have any... It's in a similar position to 352nd in that it is really solid in defending against everything, but it just can't push. Like, so it's really another division where I'm really surprised to see it with Vanguard, because it has kind of the same issues, I think, like for Monte, that it's just will struggle against the balanced division in trying to get there, in trying to push through. So let's see, maybe the God Emperor can change my mind about it. Hopefully his push doesn't go as wrong as the last one we saw from Shadowhunter. And yeah, that said, let the games begin. I don't think the Krupp is too bad. Like, normal Pack 43s I wouldn't recommend, but Krupp is good against medium tanks as well. Like, the normal one suffers under its slow rate of fire, but the Krupp in the early game, I think, in a position like this, is fine. Like, if you would bring it in over here, absolutely agree, don't think so. But in a position like this, over here, where it has a lot of level 9 inside and, like, controls the whole area, it is pretty strong. I don't know if you want to put in that much else in that space, though. Like, I think an IG and then 2 Ersatztruppen, Pack 43, 2 IGs and 2 Ersatztruppen down here would be enough to hold this whole flank for quite a while. But yeah, it looks like the God Emperor has aggressive plans down here. Let's see, maybe he can surprise Villager with it as we go into the game right now. What do you guys think about it, though? Let's do the polls again. Who do you guys think will win this lovely game between the God Emperor and Villager? So, poll has started. Let's see what you guys say. Pack 43, yeah, goes up there where it is supposed to be. 81mm mortar in the center is interesting. Does he want to use it for smoke rounds? I could see that for the some Pozoids to get into range against Panzer Grenadiers. In the north, if he can deal with this Baywagen, I think the rest of his units also can do pretty well. The new unit in 122 with the latest patch is these Storm Grenadiers, which are decent, but are not like they don't change much about the position of the division, because MP44s are just not that great at the moment, and these guys are rather costly. And with the meta being 20-point infantry, just isn't good enough. Like, with the buff to MP44s in pin rate against a lot of infantry units running into them, against a blob of infantry running into them, the Sturmgrenadiers actually work quite well, but they ain't the aggressive tools that a lot of people think they are. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. Speerwagen's eliminating the 3rd infantry unit already, so this is really bad trades here for the God Emperor in the north. In the center, yeah, is it smoke? Yeah, smoke coming in now, but this smoke came way too late. Like, I like the idea, I don't like the execution from the God Emperor with that one. Also, this IG-18 is a bit misplaced. I don't know what it... Yeah, I think I would have liked it more like over here. Somewhere where it actually can fire into between these buildings as well. Yeah, so far not convinced that the Vanguard was a good idea. So far I'm not convinced. Poseidons and Sturmgrenadiers in the north. Pinning down all the infantry. Yeah, Sturmgrenadiers really doing a solid job in that. The Tanker Junta got the kill onto the Speerwagen, but the Panzer IV appears now. Let's see if the Tanker Junta can deal with that as well. But Panzer Grenadiers all get eliminated. Got caught on the move. Stuck 3Gs coming in now in the center for the God Emperor. But all his infantry is dead by now. Like, the smoke really didn't pay off at all because it came in too late when a lot of his units already got hammered in the buildings by the Speerwagens, and then already they moved too early before the smoke screen was fully up, so a lot of them got also then caught up in the move. And in the end, that was a pretty bad trade for the God Emperor in the middle. Krupp getting the 233. First blood, the first kill there for the Krupp. 231 here going down to the Stuks. 120 on the way. Villiga reinforcing the north here. Panzer IV is still alive, engaging the Storm Grenadier right now. No, Poseidon's also a bit too far out with their Molotovs. Pak 40 coming up, interesting choice. So Poseidon's really too far out in the open. See, not deep enough in the forest here overall. The God Emperor a bit off with his infantry positioning. Like, I really like a lot of the ideas from the God Emperor, but the execution on the side of Villiger is a bit smoother. Who also plays a solid game here. But obviously has to be the reactive player, whilst the God Emperor is the guy who has to make the moves right now. And yes, as I said, I like the ideas behind the moves. I don't necessarily like the results that we get in the end. We're on 12-12 now. I like the Stuks in the center. I think I would have liked one of them from the get-go. Let's see where this all goes. Pak 40, ooh, unloading really close. One of the 233. Going real low, and using heat APCR shells is a bad idea as well. Going down to one man, and yeah, even if it gets to 233, which it does, but it even goes down for doing so. Even if it would have survived with one man, it wouldn't have been worth it. This way, it's not worth it at all. I expected the Pak 40 to get unloaded over here. Moving an anti-tank gun into this forest, never a good idea. Like, maybe moving it up here, that's an okay move, but usually you want to have it back here as red. Same goes as blue, like back here you want to have your AT gun as a safety net, so that your opponent, if he gets deflected enough, sure, but he can't push through deeper. Not onto these two flags or these two flags. Storm Grenadiers engaging with Flampanzer. And it looks like Villiger is a bit underestimating the push power right now that the God Emperor has in the center. Panzer IV and Stuk trading penetrations. Can the Panzer IV get the finishing move? Yeah, Stuk over here not moving. Yeah, God Emperor a bit sloppy micro overall. Gets the flag in the self though, which gave him the 1311 for a second, but Flag in the north now gets captured by Villiger, who wins the whole north outright now. Yeah, trying to get back into the north usually is a bad idea. Once you lost it, I think the God Emperor should have just given it up. Now he invests into a losing position instead of investing into a winning position, which would be the middle. Like, if these units would have come in the middle, I could have seen him already overrunning it before these reinforcements arrive. With these reinforcements, it will stay in the center in the middle, and this is usually where you make it or break it on this map as the Vanguard player. Like, the sides are just skirmishes, where you... But the center, if you can get rid of the hill, you usually are in an amazing spot. But I don't see that happening right now for the God Emperor, so I'm again a bit worried here for him in this game. Villiger in the south, chilling out, having the north, and yeah, the 2 Stokes will not change that, I don't think. If Villiger is not just sending his tanks out for slaughter. Martyrs and Shermans coming in the center. Only 1 Stoke there. Mortar also really underused here. Really underused by Villiger, by Shadowhunter. No, what? By the God Emperor. Ah, confusing names there. More Shermans showing up. 2-star veterancy. Panzer IV actually getting another penetration onto a Stoke. Stoke missing with its first shot. If the Panzer IV gets another kill, oh my god, that's the best Panzer IV. Killing 2 Stokes with a Panzer IV, you kidding me? I mean, yeah, the range is decent, but still. Quite a bit lucky there. The Storm Grenadiers didn't change anything about 122nd. Like, I don't even know if I want to include them in my deck. Like, the power level of 122nd really didn't change much with that. The Stews, the Stoke 4s, the Krupp, and the JH-75s and Focke-Wulfs are what makes this division decent. The air tab is better than the one of 352nd. And then the infantry already has a lot of solid CQC units with some Poseidons and so on. That's the difference. Like, you don't have any CQC infantry that can push in 352nd, and like that's the major difference. That this division actually has a bit of potential to push if you're careful, with 352nd not having any in the infantry segment especially. Okay, Villiger, that's overkill. You don't need Pack 43s in a deck against 122nd. Pack 40s is all you need there. Pack 40s and Pack 38s. So this is really overkill and card inefficient and cost inefficient card here for Villiger. Maybe they had a look in his deck before building, before getting into this match. Because yeah, Pack 43 is the wrong card. Sherman falling in the south. And yeah, God Emperor is still doing a good thing holding this forest here. The IG over here is a bit shitty positioned. Villiger up to 1410 now. And he lost his Panzer IV actually in north. Got a bit sloppy there, not moving them around. Obviously we have to keep in mind that these guys ain't Gonzo, these guys ain't Grey Fox or Karma. So micro mistakes like that will happen. But they still do a pretty solid game so far. Like, you can still see that both of these guys have a game plan and know what they're doing, know how the basics should look like, and then just sometimes let it slip up and mess them over. Focke-Wulf 190 G1 on the side of Villiger, now hitting the field and hitting some of the Ersatztruppen over here with their bomb. Nearly annihilating one of the Ersatztruppen on the run. And Focke-Wulf F8 versus G1 in disguise. But Villiger should just try to get out of here. With the F8 though being a bit quicker, and he stays in. Okay, that's an interesting choice. Both sides, I think, have very bad agility, yeah. But the G1 has also the weaker weaponry, so even if they would be both full hit points, a head-to-head would be a bad idea. What? How did the God Emperor mess that one up, though? What? How? I think he wanted to micro instead of just going for the head-to-head there. You just go for the head-on here as God Emperor. Don't micro. The micro here is unnecessary. This is the moment where you just right-click the enemy and you know you win, because if you go head-to-head, you just win. Yeah, he still does so, but he took a bit unnecessary to make it actually way closer than it should have been. But gets the G1 of Villiger. And we'll get out of here. So yeah, air superiority is still an option, but 21st has a lot of good AA and C in B and C phase with the Flak 41s. First one right now coming in the north. And same issue as last game. We are now in where I think 122nd is a solid division with also okay artillery and so on. But we have the deadline of C phase just being such an enormous advantage here point-wise for Villiger that the God Emperor will be in a rough spot to get there. And his A phase just like we once again leave A phase with the guy with balance being ahead in points. And just like for Munte, it's due to the guy picking Vanguard with a deck that just can't play Vanguard. And then having to push and then losing because all these units trade out absolutely poorly when pushing. Vanguard isn't an income that fits them all. Like, back in the time where it was meta, you had to play it with all division, but it still divided the divisions because of that. But now, like, where balanced is a solid income, just play balanced. And if you don't want to play a long game and you don't want to play balanced, then just don't play the divisions. Don't play 4th Monte, don't play 122nd. Mal hätte irgendwie Ersatz drücken. Kevos sitting around here. Let's move here, Nylink. Panzer is in the open. 13-11 for Villiger. Back to a 12-12. Flak 41 coming in. 222 is coming in. Mara hitting the Ersatz drücken. Lottery on deck. Multiples coming in, yeah. Another one of the solid CQC infantries. Then there's also Pioneers. So yeah, really the Storm Grenadiers aren't like a okay roster decision, but they don't really add up to the power level of this division because it already has solid enough tools in that regard before the Storm Grenadiers came in. Storm Grenadiers for 352nd would be a level up to its power level because with that it would have some better CQC capabilities that it didn't have before. But Storm Grenadiers don't even excel too well in direct CQC. Like they're still more of a town fighting unit with in medium range or like light forest and not heavy forest. So even then, I don't know how well they would do. And yeah, 30 points for 10 men is I think fair. Like the price is fair, but it's not insanely great. And really don't made it from it, like yeah. Stew hitting Panzer Grenadiers. Stews are the reason why you want to play this deck maybe. Stock Force are also nice. And then you have the Krupp, then you have the Air Tab, and then you have a lot of solid availability infantry. Laturiuntas. That's stupid. But really the aggressive capabilities are what is a bit lacking. If you would have armored cars or so, like 25th Panzer Grenadiers, the story would be a different one. I think then the division would be pretty good. But right now I just see it as C phase, as C tier. And it is a 12-12. Wolf A8 coming in here for Villiger. Trying to get some strafing in. As that Strippin getting hit. An F8 coming in here for the God Emperor, getting a crit, but there's no AA on the ground for him. So can't really follow it up. Black 41's forcing the F8 back, and the A8 actually might get behind it and get the kill. Yeah, and without AA, you shouldn't send a fighter bomber on the hunt for a fighter. Like, ooh, this might get close. No, the A8 is not following. 13-11 down now for the God Emperor, as he really traded out amazingly in the center right now. Is it once again one of these games where somehow awkwardly the guy that played Vanguard absolutely falls flat in A phase, and then somehow the other guy underestimates him and we see a comeback in B and C phase? Because that's what it kind of looks like right now here in B phase. If you can get the line off the center, could be pretty good. But there is the first King Tiger on the way right now for Williger. So I think that was an overinvestment. He didn't need the King Tiger for anything right here. It doesn't really work out in the center too well anyways. So I think, yeah, if he would have just invested into a couple more medium tanks, then he wouldn't have lost the Ridge in the first place. Stews and Stokes over here engaging the infantry. Williger is still up to 13-11 now. Pushing in onto the infantry in the south as well. With his 2-3-3. And God Emperor right now not microing there. (13-11) for Williger. But the infantry is closing in. And there's a lot of Stooks here. Maybe with some side shots he can even kill the King Tiger. And then like King Tiger in B phase, when you play balanced versus Vanguard and you're in a good position, I think is a good tool of throwing the game. Because if you lose it, that's so many points that your enemy couldn't really get efficiently off that quick otherwise. Like, yeah, it's too much of a risk to play the King Tiger here at this point. Like, sure, it's cool to have a King Tiger, but I don't think it's the right choice at this point. Like feeling will most likely kill off the Focal of A8. Yeah, they do so. Well, a King Tiger on another map, like on Slutsk West or so, would do the job, but not here. Not here. Like, on Orsha East, it's just not a good tool. And yeah, it's not like he needs it as a King Tiger always is better on the defense than on the offense because of its weak side armor. So really no point of bringing that in here. God Emperor actually up to a 14-10 now. Still for some reason trying to come in the north. He really should have given that one up, but somehow Williger gives him trades even here. Look for getting the kill. King Tiger moving up. First sample. Let's try to build King Tiger. And yeah, the King Tiger is in trouble. And I mean, in most games, the most expensive units in the game ain't really too much of a show. Like, even in a game like StarCraft, we didn't saw battle cruisers for like in 1v1s for like 8 years. Not until the change in 2019 or 2018. It might even have been 9 years that we didn't saw battle cruisers in 1v1s at all. Same goes for Mothership there or so on. Like the most expensive unit in a 1 is most of the time not worth it in a 1v1 because it's just too clunky, too hard to get, too easy to snipe. I mean, yeah, Mothership in StarCraft ain't called -400 for a reason. Is called that for a reason. One abduct and your pretty Mothership is gone. And same with the King Tiger. One nasty side shot, one nasty anti-tank grenade, and your King Tiger is in big trouble. And the God Emperor is actually not really dealing with it too well though. Sending one Stew and one Stook into its death there, not getting it timed up correctly, so they came in piecemeal, none of them really getting side shots. So the King Tiger wins, The God Emperor had chance there though to get the kill there. And actually push way deeper in than he did right now. Got a 59 still, got another air killer here. And yeah, Williger really starting to throw the game here. Under pressure now in the south as well. Like the trades lately were really piss poor. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of looks like a repeat of last game. Let's see if Williger can turn it around again. Just like last game Kramoxis did. In the later stages of the game. King Tiger now under artillery fire. And play a bit more clean. Though Kramoxis actually didn't even play that clean till the end. But he just played solid enough, I guess. So that in the end there's income advantage. And the force on Shadowhunter that he needed to push because his deck was thinner. Won him the game. With 3 engaging pioneers. Another unnecessary loss here. Another tank that didn't need it to show itself here from Williger. Losing another Panzer IV. Down here herself. Lateral Junta holding the edge of the forest. And the artillery barrage continues here with the 81mm mortar that finally gets used by the God Emperor and gets used quite a bit now. Grenadiers here trying to hold the line, but in the light forest the SDKZs do quite a bit of damage. Stokes not moving forward yet. King Tiger has fallen though. King Tiger has fallen. Got killed off over here. But second King Tiger is on the way already. And we are in sea phase, so Williger gets ahead soon with his income. And yeah, God Emperor still has him on a 25-minute timer, and that is not enough. I think the King Tiger ate a Panzerschreck from one of the Sturm Grenadiers. I think that's what happened. Really not the way to play with King Tigers. Don't get them on Austria East in the first place, I think. And if you want to get them down here. Or like get them over here and then like into this, but yeah, no, usually you just don't want to get them here. You just don't want to get them here. It's not a good King Tiger map. Not enough open space. And unlike battlecruisers in StarCraft 2, they can't teleport. Because that's the way how they made battlecruisers actually useful. By giving them the insane ability to teleport even without vision anywhere on the map. And they can't do that in Steel Division 2, obviously. I think there would be a lot of outcry from the community if you could just teleport your your King Tiger into the enemy's supply line and out again. Or just from one flank to another. Like leaving historical accuracy there out of it. First of all, it's just like in StarCraft, the most expensive units is usually pretty good in team games, so the team game community would be really butthurt by that, and it would be a pretty stupid feature as well, just as it is with the Battlecruiser, because Battlecruiser right now in StarCraft is not a late game unit anymore, most of the times, but rather an early rush unit that you use to just jump into the enemy base and kill workers with it. Kill the enemy's economy, especially against Zerg, which is pretty random. Like the most expensive, Terrans rushing for the most expensive unit outright. I mean, we have King Tiger rushes here as well, though. So I guess the latest game with that coming to mind is Adler versus Shogu, with both sides bringing a King Tiger in A phase. So obviously, economy works a bit different here than in StarCraft. With it being quite a bit more linear at the start in StarCraft. And tech tree focused, which we luckily don't have here. Would be a bit awkward. Well, actually, it could be an interesting idea that you, like, with it, all the units having different tech levels that you still have to buy first before you can get them. Like wouldn't call them tech levels, but like, get, like, like for the connection to your air force, and that gives you the right to get air units out and so on, or like heavier tank regiments and so on, and getting that way. But I mean, the phase system already locks things up well enough, I guess. The wolf getting hit over here. Panzer IV coming in as well. And another King Tiger. Oh, no, that's the same King Tiger. Just moved into the south. Williger actually getting his way back onto this hill somehow. And got Emperors only up to 1311. And yeah, that will not be enough again. We're again once more in one of these games where I just don't think it will be enough. King Tiger coming in the south. Wolves coming in for the God Emperor, but he doesn't have just like the only way in late game for Vanguard to win is either tank superiority when the enemy doesn't have any anti-tanks, which obviously isn't an option against 21st Panzer. Then artillery superiority, where you just like have somehow so many mortars that you just can like punch holes in the enemy defense and then exploit it with your forces, or air superiority. And none of these is strong enough, obviously, right now for the God Emperor to do it. Like, air superiority being the closest one, with him killing quite a couple of Williger's air units, but it's not enough bombers for him to get 55 points extra per minute with it, which is what he needs to get right now. Like, 60 points extra he needs till he wins. Like, he needs more than even, he needs 60 points extra per minute. Losing a flak feeling here in the south. I mean, I guess 55 right now would be enough as he's ahead, so yeah. But basically, to get ahead, he needs 60 points. And that's hard. That is 3 infantry units, or 2 to 3 infantry units extra that you have to kill per minute. And a minute isn't that long when it comes to killing units. So, over time, I think Williger will stabilize here and get the game back under his control. They're surely coming in onto the Flak 41. Panzer Grenadiers down here. Lost their Panzer IV, Stoke 4 still pushing. Look, are bringing on Gepards now to protect this King Tiger, and I think that's a really good investment. Flak 41 somewhere over here maybe or something would be nice as well. We're still at a 1311. Stu engaging onto the Panzer Grenadiers. Mortar half-tracks also would be also nice. Look, a Wolf Bomber coming in. Like, the thing that I could see maybe that Williger runs out of infantry because he trades not too carefully with them. Like, he loses quite a couple of them. So that maybe could be a way down. But that's still a long shot here, as we are still only in minute 29, and he's already getting close to 12-12, I would say, once more. Two, 3 over here, engaging onto infantry. 14-10 it is. With 13-59, it would be only till minute, only till minute 40 for God Emperor to the win, but that could happen in the center right now. The center still looks rather iffy for Williger because of that King Tiger push. He should have really invested into 3 Shermans instead, or like 3 Panzer IVs or something. Like, all of these investments would have been better than 1 King Tiger on its own. Like, yeah, King Tigers need so much backup to be efficient in this game, and you just can't really afford it and be against the Vanguard deck. If you're being the Maverick guy against the enemy balance deck, then sure, go for the King Tiger and try to push the game to the end with that, with like the support of the Gepards and support of recon cars in front of it, so that the enemy can't ambush it. But yeah, we saw what happened. Well, we didn't saw what happened, but we saw that it died, and we guessed that it was a Panzerfaust. And yeah, that wouldn't have happened if the King Tiger would have enough backup, or if you just send in 3 Shermans. Then one of them gets Panzerfausted and the rest kills the unit that Panzerfaust did. Sad German. As it is, it's a 14-10. So yeah, God Emperor keeping up pressure, but will be rough. Will be rough here. Without a 59 especially. And getting a 59 right now looks kinda rough, because the center gets reinforced right now by Villiger. Yeah, this flag I think is the one to go for here. And I think the God Emperor should go for it a bit more aggressively, because I think he should know that he's on a timer here. Or the game turns around with Villiger just having way too much. So he should be playing more to that. And he gets 59, so that's 8 minutes. So that's till minute 40, 41. Can he do it though? Can he do it? It's so funny to see another Vanguard deck actually being the guy pushing and winning ground in C phase after losing in A phase. Back to 14-10 it is though. That's the Grenadiers engaging the Grenadiers over here. More Panzer Grenadiers coming up, but this one will get Panzer Schreck or just killed by Matcherino. 59 continues. Panzer Grenadiers in a lot of trouble. Here gets killed. More forces coming in over here. Yeah, doesn't look too bad for the God Emperor, but he needs the 59. Like, he plays a solid game here lately. Just again the A phase. The A phase. The A phase with Vanguard. Not a believer yet in the C phase victory for the God Emperor. Not a believer yet. With a continuous 59, he could make me one. Could make a believer out of me. But I don't see that on the menu anytime soon. Trying to get it back onto this one will be rough. Defensive force. Even the King Tiger is pretty close by. There's a tanky Junta though. Like, if you can get another kill on the King Tiger, maybe I start believing. But at the moment, it's don't start believing. I mean, obviously for the God Emperor, it's still don't stop believing. Try to get the game. It's playoffs after all. But yeah, it's a rough match. It's a really rough match right now. Stoke 3 engaging the Panzer 4. Panzer 4 over here, coming in for the side shots, and together they should do the job, especially with the King Tiger also backing them up here. But the infantry continues dying down here. The infantry is still a bit too easily wasted here by Villiger. That might really be the issue here in the end. And it is a 59 once more. It is a 59 once more for the God Emperor. So, maybe. It's not Tenko to Junta, but they are not in position. Oh no, they're not doing their thing. They should be here by now. Oh my god, that's the opportunity. That's the opportunity for the God Emperor to win the whole game. Just kill these 2 units and yourself get so much stress relief that you actually can focus on the center again and then maybe win the game there. With the 59 that it is on right now. No, only one King Tiger is dead so far. The other one went to the south. That's the one that went to the south. Only one dead King Tiger. Only the one over here. But there's a... Oh no, he actually sent in the second one. I thought it went to the south, but it's actually the second one that also went here and got Panzer Schreck. Oh, I missed that. Well, he actually lost 2 King Tigers here. Yeah, that's really the throw mechanic of Villiger. That's really how you throw a game with 21st Panzer 101. By Villiger here. Buy King Tigers in B phase and send them into infantry. Send them up the hill. Like, send them up the hill into unknown ground is always a better idea with tanks. And with heavy tanks especially. Oh my god, yeah, this could have been the killing move here. Getting the kill on these two with the Tank of the Juntas. Would have given the tank advantage actually to the God Emperor, and the infantry advantage was in his favor as well. So, yeah. But he doesn't do that. Willigard played such a good A phase, and now he's struggling so hard, but I still think he will win it, even with this double throwaway of King Tigers. Like, oh my god, he lost 2 there. Like, I thought that, because I saw another King Tiger then down here, so he just closely after the other one died here, I guess. I was like, okay, yeah, then he sent it to the south, I guess. Because I was like, yeah, it's not here anymore. He cannot have lost the second one that fast, can he? But he actually did. Wow, okay. Totally missed that. So that's already 2 King Tigers down. Yeah. Wolf AA though, on the good and on the F8 over here of the God Emperor. We'll get there in time though. It doesn't quite look like it, and now more F8s coming up here for the God Emperor, getting the shutdown. Air going to more and more to the God Emperor. Giving him more and more of a window to making this his win condition, maybe. But it's back to a 12-12, and this is really good for Williger. More and more Panzer Force showing up all over the map. More AA coming in as well. No artillery whatsoever for him yet. Whilst on the other side we still have 120mm and 81mm artillery pieces. And this is one of the big weak spots of 122nd. It doesn't have off-map. Yeah, like a combination of 122nd and 352nd I think would be a pretty good division. Because then you could combine the off-map with the sea infantry of the other deck and so on. But, yeah. Not having off-map makes it is a pretty big deal, killer as well when it comes to being a Vanguard deck. Having off-map really helps you get cost-efficient pushes going. Or forcing the enemy in awkward positions. Yeah, we have so many Panzer IV here now by now by Williger. Tank of the Junta didn't got there yet. Flak Feeling also goes down. Yeah, this is the biggest mess up I think by the God Emperor. Goes up to 1311 once more. Once we have more and more Panzers coming in, but all the infantry died for Williger. Because he didn't got his combined arms, because instead of getting combined arms, he got 2 big boys with an 88mm that did jack shit. They achieved nothing at all. Another air unit goes down there as well. The God Emperor actually up to 1410. But a lot of Panzer IV is now pushing in the center. And the Grenadiers, sadly, for the God Emperor don't have Panzer Shreks. Or, no, Panzerfaust, I mean. Oh god, I'm always messing those two up. Panzer IV is over here, moving forward. Getting engaged by a Pak 40 though. And by a Stu now. Stu gets bailed out though. King Tiger is moving forward. Oh my god. Yeah, oh my god. The King Tiger positioning is like, Williger, please don't play with King Tigers. The rest of your gameplay is so solid, but your King Tiger positioning is not good. And it's really the only way you give your opponent here a chance to get back into the game is by losing King Tigers. And another King Tiger goes down. Like, he saw the Trinket Junta earlier, he still kept his King Tiger in this place. And it's actually falling flat. Is the God Emperor getting the win here? Oh my god. He actually even got back into the north because Williger showed himself there multiple times. With his tanks, needlessly. And yeah, like, he was so far ahead, but... And he still, I think, has a solid idea, but giving his opponent another 59 here? Luckily for him, he gets the flag down here right now, easily, because there's nothing up here anymore. The Pak 40 went down to the Panzer Force. He somewhat managed to get that. I think the King Tiger helped out getting it before it died. But the Air Force is still in favor of the God Emperor. Oh, it's back to a 12-12 though, as the forces... Williger has enough forces that he can afford to push in there in the north. And all the Panzer forces are pushing forward. Dealt with the Grenadiers. Can't really deal any damage back. Military Junta now on the fire. And a single Stock 4 can't come out here and fight. $13-11 now for Williger. Dealing with the rest of the Storm Grenadiers. I don't even think the KD will be too horrible. Because he did pretty well in A-Phase. 14-10 now. And I think by now he has, again, way more on the field once more. And it's the 14-10 yeah now for Williger, who is starting to push through here. Yeah, the holds by now, like, yeah, he just has too much. He just starts to have too much. Well, the God Emperor, the center just falls like a dominoes. Look 3's on the way, but I don't think they will change much there. I think Williger is winning it after all. Got way closer than necessary once more though. And I think that's one of the biggest issues in the lower divisions, is using an advantage. And like, when someone gets that far ahead, like Williger and Kramoxis got in their latest games, then like basically the other guy can tap out at that point already, and I can end the stream. But here it still took 42 minutes and a lot of points on Williger's side to get back here and get into a leading spot after being so far at an A pace, but just like, yeah, finding a way to throw a game and trying to use it as much as possible in B phase was Williger's point of playing. Like, oh yeah, how can I give my can I make it a fair game again? How can I give as many points as possible, as fast as possible? Oh yeah, sending 2 King Tigers up a hill without any support. Another King Tiger coming up. 59 here for Williger. Panzer 4 is now dealing with 540. A bit overeager again. 222 now dealing with the Storm Pioneers though. Storm Grenadiers. And it's a 16-8 now. And yeah, that is the end. He has too much in the south. Yeah, it seems to be out of infantry though. I think he's out of infantry with how he uses 222s and no infantry support for his Panzer force also in the center. Interesting. Like, but he just has too much armor by now. So even that, him being out of infantry doesn't really matter. Yeah, another King Tiger coming in the center. But this time it has a bit of support. And the Panzer IV leader coming out in the south. 16-8 continues. And yeah, that's just the point where we fast forward once more. Because this game is pretty much done for. Like 41 faults. Tango de Junta getting another kill down there in the south actually. Again, traits that shouldn't go the God Emperor's way do. Panzer IV is over here getting the Stoke. Dealing with M42s. MG42 engaging the Panzer Grenadiers that get over the open. A bit unnecessarily as well. MG42's coming in the south. Trying to get some flags back. Flag gets captured over here as well. 14-10. 59. Lost the flag over here once more. But all the tanks are dead right now here. Only a couple of Stooks in the south, right, left for the God Emperor, but nothing in the center. Little AT and capabilities in the center as well, so... yeah, looks like Williger will get the win after all. Because he just played a really solid A phase. He really played a good A phase. And all the rest of his units also did pretty okay. Just... he got 600 points and did as little as possible, as humanly possible with them in B phase and early C phase, and that way gave the God Emperor somewhat of a chance to get back here. Like the air also was a good play there by the God Emperor, so that plus the King Tigers allowed him to stay in the game as long as as he was, and actually getting as close as he got to taking the Williger down here. But yeah, A phase and the rest of the traits just in the end are too good here for Villiger. And he gets rewarded for his really good hold in the early game. $17-7 for Villiger. With you winning or you losing, Tosdi? Like, how did that happen? And with people actually playing? Is it a mosquito hitting a road with Molotov? Or like napalm and just the other guy surrendering because he lost 5 infantry units in it? Or like, how did it happen? Or was it just a disconnect? It might have been just a desync, disconnect. Like, happens. Or what did you do to that guy? That you gotta surrender. 18-6. You lost 2, he lost 3 of what? What exactly are you talking about? Like, what did you lose? What did he lose? Like, King Tiger goes down once more. Pack 40 getting the kill there. Another King Tiger goes down to a Pack 43. So yeah, all the King Tigers dying. the God Emperor at least gets that for him. Panzer 4 goes down as well. And yeah, the God Emperor in the end actually gets a really good KD. But it doesn't matter. He was just not good enough in A phase. And in 54 minutes, Villiger gets enough points to even that out. But 1,500 points is still significant. But yeah, in the end, we have 5 killed King Tigers. The elite, the Panzer elite is wiped out in the 21st Panzer, at least in the universe of this game. So yeah, pretty Pyrrhic victory here for Villiger, but a victory nonetheless. And with that, we will go into game number 2. Villiger on match point in 5 minutes. Okay. So, before we jump back into the game, one more time, we have the sellout section of the stream. And telling you how you can support the tournament and get these guys a bit more cash into the pockets without even paying anything. The first thing you have to do, !Matcherino in the chat. I even do that for you guys. And then you can use the code Sherman up here, click on contribute, click on coupon code, type in Sherman, then click on contribute, and you add 50 cents to your prize pool. For free. For free. Nothing else needed. Get the 50 cents in there. Or click on some links here. More than only need to visit the website. Don't need to click anything there. Don't need to subscribe to anything, alright? If you want to do that, you can obviously do that as well. But yeah, just visiting some links, it's another couple of cents to the prize pool as well. And if anyone does that, that's a couple of tens or 20s or $30 there that we can get in there as well, if anyone in the chat does that now. So it adds up. It really adds up. And it would be really cool if a couple of you guys could do that, so that we get a bit more prize pool into the pockets of guys like Karma and co. Obviously Karma being the first finalist again this season. So yeah, if you like Karma and you want to be a nice guy, give the Matcherino a visit. With that said, let's return to game number 2. And we stay in Orsha East, which is a bit of a mistake on the player's side, but obviously, yeah, if both sides are fine with playing the map again, then yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Usually the rules for the playoffs say that you don't play a map twice, like you do your bans of the maps. The bans stay the same, and you add the previously played map to it, so that you don't play the same map twice. But I guess these two guys didn't read that rule, and so we end up on Orsha East once more. And we end up with the same incomes actually, but they switched sides, which is nice at least. We have got Emperor from the right side with Vanguard, and Villager from the left side with Balanced. And this time the God Emperor plays 12 SS versus a pencil there. So we stay with Axis versus Axis, so all the guys who talk about like, last season and were like, oh my god, Axis doesn't get enough play, this season they get. And this time we have a tank on tank action happening here, with both sides having quite a lot of Panthers in them. Pencilier not having a King Tiger anymore, unlike in Steel Division Normandy 44. So yeah, it will be a lot of Panthers and Panzer Force that we will see in this game, I would suspect. And then a lot of Panzer Grenadiers on Panzer Grenadier action on the ground. So I think it's a pretty much about the skill of the players here, more so than the divisions, because divisions are pretty similar. And I'm really looking forward to see how both of these guys will do in this one. Let's see what you guys think about who will win game number 2. Villager or God Emperor. I think they're pretty evenly matched, with obviously both sides having a couple of flaws, but overall playing pretty solid. And this time Villager doesn't have any King targets to throw away, and you have to throw away at least double the amount of Panthers, or like nearly double the amount of Panthers to get to the same result, so it will be a bit harder for him if he gets ahead once more in the A phase to throw it away this time. But I think 12SS is a way better aggressive division than 122nd, so chances for the aggression part for the God Emperor I think this time are quite a bit better as well. So here we go. Finally Hitler Jugend. Couple of 231s and 232s on this side. 234/1, a Panzer 4. 3 Panzer Grenadiers. A couple of Flammenwerfers as well. Let's see how that goes in the south. We have a Panther in the A, we have a Panther in the north, a Panther in the center. That's for sure the biggest tanks on the battlefield. Not too much AT on the side of Villager actually. So that might backfire. Like, no AT guns whatsoever in the center and only one Panzer IV, which should lose against the Panther D. Except in really close quarters combat where it has chance of winning with its extra retrocy and it's a bit higher rate of fire because of that. So if the Panzer IV gets 2 penetration shots in after another, then it can win here. But the Panther D is favored for sure. So let's see if God Emperor can make it work this time. How does it go in the south? Loses his 2-3-1 already. Not a good start here. And the 2-3-4, I think we'll get another kill here. Especially as the Panzer IV also comes in. 2-2-2 doesn't really stand a chance of penetrating the 2-3-4. 2-3-4 really good against 2-2-2s. Because they just have the right amount of frontal armor and the right amount of penetration to deal with those. So bad start for God Emperor again in the south. Panzer IV engaging the MG42. Ooh, but he gets the air kill this time. So, is it air superiority this time for him? Oh no, he got the air superiority last time as well. Just it wasn't enough. So yeah, gets the early Focke-Wulf kill here though. Gets the Focke-Wulf to get a good strafing run as well. But will lose the south. Way too over-aggressive, especially after losing his half-tracks here. And armored cars here. Like, way too over-aggressive. He should have stayed in the forest. He has CQC units, but yeah, running Pioneers into Panzer Grenadiers and half-tracks isn't a good idea, and he will lose the south once more. Just like in last game, messing it up with position alone once more. But people still believe in God Emperor. Okay, so the vote is still in favor of God Emperor. But yeah, it's again Williger in the early game up with the 13-11. Just by the God Emperor having solid ideas again, but really seems like Williger has the better execution in the early game. You can't say overall after what happened to the King Tigers last game, but in the early game it seems like Williger has the better execution. 2-3-1 now coming around here for God Emperor and getting onto Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer IV and 2-3-1 moving forward for Williger. Trying to get the kill there. All the Panzer IV coming in. And 2 Panzer IVs are really dangerous for a Panther D. And yeah, the south is in the hand of Williger, who's actually going up to 59 here. Oh my god. Another time the Vanguard player just gets annihilated. That seems to be a Division 5 staple by now. Like, what is this? Like, it seems like these guys kind of struggle to be with being aggressive in the early game. Not having quite the right timing for it. Like, the question in the early game usually is quite timing dependent, and yeah, that seems to be the biggest issue here. So that seems why it falls flat. Like, when you send in the units in the wrong order or the wrong time, like piecemeal, they will lose. And I think that's what's happening here to the God Emperor. Both half-tracks force themselves to fall back, or force each other to fall back at the same time. Panzer IV up here on the hill. Might be able to get the 2-3-4-1, but nice smoke there by Williger. Trying to protect it, and yeah, again at 59 for him. But he has to be careful not to be over-eager once more. Yeah, get these guys back. Ah, he's over-eager here once more. Getting them on the edge of the forest instead of keeping them in the back and just like attack what comes in. You don't need to be there. You don't need to fight. Williger, you're ahead. You don't need to take fights. You don't have to be the aggressor here. You have the balanced income. Like, yeah, assessments of when to fight is another thing that Division 5 players are a bit lagging in. Like, 14-10 continues. They usually fight too often, like in situations where it's not necessary to fight, or like there's just no chance of them winning. So it's just like, for example, engaging a Panther D down here. Panzer IV, at least got a kill on the one Panzer IV of the God Emperor, so it didn't fully got wasted. Oh no, it got a 2-2-2. Got a Panzer IV here as well, right? Yeah, the burning thing back here is a Panzer IV, so Wasn't too horrible this time for Veligar in the south, but he still loses all his armored support down here. And actually gives the God Emperor a chance to push back in there. 1311 for the God Emperor is what's happening right now. And we have Panther D on Panther D leader action, both with 1-star Veteran C in the center. The one of Veligar gets the first penetration, even though it gets a later shot. So Veligar just getting the roll of dice victory here in the center, which is a bit sad for the God Emperor. But he got at least a couple of... He at least got the Panzer IV here earlier. But yeah, losing the Panther D in the center is a big blow to his push. Okay, Panzer IV in the north. Panther D of him in the north pushing forward as well. Does it come to another Panther D on Panther D leader action in the north? Doesn't look like it quite yet. As the God Emperor is disengaging. Oh no, he's going for it now. He's going for it now. Never want to shy away from a fight. And this time he gets the shot way earlier, I think. Oh no, the Panther D needs forever to turn the turret. But yeah, now he got the shot and get the penetration, so he will win this one most likely. Already get the penetration and gets the second shot nearly at the same time where the other guy gets the first shot. Yeah, but gets penetrated nonetheless. The Panther D of Veligar still gets a penetration in, so it did some damage. But yeah, both sides 1 Panther down, which makes it okay for the God Emperor again. But yeah, Veligar really good in keeping his ground, and Puma coming in the south. But I think Pumas... I know they're not in real life, but in Still too, I think they're like to live in herds and fight in herds. You want to have quite a couple of these guys to come around from all the corners or like fire at the same time and then just get back into cover. Because in 1v1 trades against tanks and so on, they just don't do that well. So I think you want to have 2 or 3 of them at the same time, and then they become useful. I'm a fan, but yeah, not of single Pumas. That's why they're also not the alpha species in real life, because they always move as singles and hunt as singles, and otherwise Pumas would just destroy us all. They would be the alpha species of the planet. No way humans win there. Pioneers and Pentagoners coming up here. For the God Emperor. 1311. Panzer 4H engaging onto IG. Okay, does the IG get the penetration? Ooh, Panzer Grenadier, though, getting really close here. I think Veligar could read that, but yeah, he didn't realize it in time. So Panzer Grenadier gets the kill of the Panzerfaust. And the second Panzer IV is now moving away, but okay, moving away sidewards. IG goes down though, but still nice kill there by the God Emperor. Now also engaging onto the Panzer Grenadiers. 1311 for him this time. After A phase, so not as horrible of a start this time, but it's still more points ticked away for the God Emperor than for Veligar. It's still not a good start. Still not a good start. Still not a good A phase. Gets a kill with the Pak 40, Panzer IV coming up. More 231s and Puma, 234s and Pumas coming up. Pak 40 on the side of the God Emperor. But 1311 is not enough. That's 40 minutes. That's not how you win here. You need a 59. But he can achieve that this time. He has enough forces on the battlefield, and obviously they're even in B phase. So if he can achieve a 59 in B phase, there's still hope for the God Emperor for sure in this one. Like this game is in a way better spot than last time, it feels like. In a way better spot. And if Veligar struggles just as much as he did last game in B phase, this game should be a win for the God Emperor. But obviously that is not a given. Yes, Veligar also should play way more careful this time than he did last time. I think it was also quite a bit down to sloppy play there just with the King Tigers and so on. Him being too convinced that he's already winning and like has the game in his pocket. So, what do we have happening right now? Not much. Not much. More half-tracks coming in. So more 20mm autocannon cars on the side of the God Emperor. On the other hand, more Panzer IVs, more Pumas. Yeah, a lot of light armor. A couple more infantry units for the north. Panther. Not sure quite sure what it was engaging up. Ed. 1311 is still up here, but doesn't quite look like the God Emperor has a good plan for going to a 59 right now. Maybe the south? I guess that's the plan right now. But that would be rough. Like, the Panzervernichtungs could do a lot of stuff here to the God Emperor if he gets overeager with his push there. 1311 continues. And yeah, this is a tough position here. Like, where would you guys push? I guess the south is 2 flags, and that's exactly 59 then. But maybe the center is better. But obviously after losing the Panther, he's down a Panther in the middle, so getting that back into his favor is not easy. In the north, you don't get 2 flags, you only get 1 flag maximum. So it has to be the center or the south. I guess the south is not a bad idea. The 1 more infantry squad would be nice, like 1 more Pioneer or so. Something with CQC capabilities. Ooh, we have a Worf Ramen in the middle. Haven't seen one of these in a while. Not today, at least. Yeah, that could be deadly. That could be absolutely deadly. Yeah, putting it in the center. Yeah, it could. I don't know. Yeah, it would win him the south, obviously, but I don't know if it would even be cost efficient to use it in the south, like just on this infantry. Like a mortar half-track would be the better choice here, obviously, but yeah, I think the Wolf Ramen is better in the middle to try to get the kill on the Panther D and then maybe allow a push there. And with that, God Emperor could get even like up to a 16-8 or 17-7. Which would make it like way easier to keep a constant 59, constant double take onto the enemy. At 40 is a nice spot. Giga Whitman coming in again. Yeah. So far it looks pretty promising by the God Emperor, but he has to do it at some point soon to really like make the game quick enough still before the C phase ticks into hard. But he gets it now. He gets to 59 now, though the Panzervernichtungs get discovered by his Panzergrenadiers. The Panther D still does a good job in the center. Will engage his lonely Tiger E here now. Gets penetration there as well. Tiger E doesn't penetrate. And Panther D already has the higher fire rate with first shot combined. Gets the Tiger E as well. Without getting penetrated. Bad times here for the God Emperor in the center. Yeah, the Wolf Ramen comes in too late. Yeah, that should have come in before the other guys moved in there for the fight. But the 59 is still nice. Or 12 minutes, that's minute 26, that's manageable. That is absolutely manageable. That is a timing where Vanguard still is in a good spot and can win the game. So keeping the 59 is the highest priority here for the God Emperor. Puma in the south, pushing on the Panzergrenadiers, but will get flanked by a Panzer IV. But yeah, getting the south is really nice for him. Really nice for the God Emperor. Ooh, Villiga already losing a Panther D in North, but gets the Panther D and the Pack 40 there. And now it's Panther D versus Whitman, which should go for Whitman on long range, even though, like, because the drop off of the 75mm gun is pretty significant. So penetration power of the Panther D on long range is pretty low. Whereas the one of the 88 is kind of stable, where it usually is at. And we get to the 16-8 that I was talking about, get these extra one flag, keep it a safer double count. So 16, 23. There's still for sure chances though for Villiga to get this back into his hands, especially as it's still quite a couple of minutes in C phase. It's still 6 minutes in C phase, so it will at least matter a bit, the income there. Trying to get him back to 14-10 then, and then to 12-12. But yeah, 16-8 is really good here for the God Emperor, and I have to close my window, guys, so I will be back in a second. Got quite cold here, but yeah, let's continue. So do we have another Panther on Panther action on the south? No, it's Panther on halfback action for now. Walker Wolf 190 A8 coming in. Now it feels good to be casting again. After weekend break. With being busy with IRL and Cyberpunk 2077. That game is good, guys. Cyberpunk is amazing, but if you can play it in good graphics, that is. Like, graphics really is important by that game because it's so much about the immersion of being in that world, which is like the most immersive world I've been in yet in a video game, I think. And luckily for me, it also has really had really few bugs so far that were noticeable or major. Like, sure, you have that weird NPC that is in a room where it isn't supposed to be sometimes, or stuff like that, or like a guy in a fight somehow being like floating in the air. But overall, it's still really amazing game. Just like this game at the moment is by God Emperor, but we're getting closer to C phase. And he's starting to lose units. Can you get victory here in the south? Gets the penetration on the Panther D in the south first. Gets penetrated in retaliation though, so he has to make this shot count. And he gets the kill. So, nice kill there by the God Emperor. Keeps the south, keeps the 16-8. Looks good for him. Looks really good for him here right now. Panzer Grenadier is coming up. Yeah, 16-8 is nice. Way better than last time. Like, last time he got it late in C phase. This time he has it in B phase. And he has a solid enough forces on the battlefield, so looks like he's in a good spot right now. Panzer Grenadiers get annihilated here. Tiger is the biggest boy in the center. Pack 40 to help that out. Wolf Ramen is here to maybe do some damage. I think he should actually use it right now. Just put Williger even heavier under pressure. Maybe get to 17-7 in the center. ST Kivs that gets killed. Tiger E getting the head. Panther D sitting around over here. Tiger 40 getting killed by the Panzer Grenadiers. There they go. KFZ coming around. That's a nice flag. So now it's only a 15-9 again. Yeah, Villiga needs to bring it to 14-10, then he has enough time. /9's coming around as well. Tiger E moving forward in the north. Black 41 coming in as well. More Panther D's. It's a 1410, so that's just really good for Villigar getting the flag over here. Yeah, the Wolfram not being used is a bit awkward. Oh, it's now getting used on the Panther. Okay. But like, yeah, this investment hasn't paid off yet. And even with a Panther D kill, it hasn't paid off afterwards. So yeah. Like, if you want to bring it in, you want to use it relatively quickly after, especially with Vanguard. Yeah, it's not so much about like the long-term trades, but more so about the momentum and keeping that up. Yeah, the 59 is really nice, but it's on the edge. It's on the edge. And in the south, there's a really big build-up right now for Villigar. Trying to break through there. I like that. That he doesn't push it in piecemeal right now. And the Panther D even survives the Wolfram, and that's the issue when you only fire on one single target with it. Instead of like a concentration of forces. Because then AoE can fuck you up like that, and then you don't get any kills. Pioneers and half-tracks pushing in the south. Panzer Force, Panther D's coming in. More Panther D's shooting over here. Panther D goes down on the side of God Emperor, and this way, this should allow Villigar to push through here. Can the God Emperor send something to stop it at least, or yeah, get more time, like some Panzer Shreks or something, just stall for time, because that's all he needs. Like 4 minutes 34, it's not too much time he needs to get here to just win the game. Like, yeah, maybe counter pushing in the center would be a good idea instead, like just giving up the south. But like, if he loses this, he also could lose these 2 flags, so that's really the issue. Like, losing these 2 flags, I think he could recover from, but it's even getting close to a 12-12 if he loses these, because then there's nothing to protect this area over here, and that's the issue that I see right now. In the north, his Panther D doesn't get a kill onto the Panther D of Villigar, misses there, and one of Villigar uses that opportunity to get the final kill. Black 41 now, engaging onto Panzer 4, getting the driver killed, so that Panzer 4 is basically toast. Panther D over here getting engaged by Pack 40. Pack 41 gets the kill. Loses a couple of men. And no reinforcements for the south by the God Emperor. More Panzer 4s in the north. But there's no flags in the north. The only flags you can protect. So I think he should really more concentrate on to the center and onto holding on in the south. Because even if he pushes in the north, it's only 1 more flag. Whereas he will lose 4 in the south if he doesn't do anything about it. And then it's still a 12-12. Then at this point, it's still a 12-12. Panzer Grenadier is getting engaged over here. Will get killed off by the 222 and the Flag 41. But there's a lot of tanks here. And it's a 1410 now as the first flag falls in the south, second flag falls in the south. Yeah, the God Emperor is reacting now, but he's reacting too late, I think. And we're getting close to a 12-12 here. Yeah, we are back at a 12-12. Villigar once more down to 3 minutes on the clock. 5 minutes on the clock. This game. 13-11 once more for the God Emperor, but it looks rough again. Once in game number 2, it looks rough once more. A phase went better, but B phase also was okay, but it didn't went well enough, I think. And the trades lately were just good. Villigar played with a lot more patience this game than he did last game, like the build up in the south and so on. I really liked those moves. instead of just sending in the Panther. And I mean, he sent one Panther in first, but after realizing that that doesn't work out, he made the right adjustments in this game and now has the big enough forces to actually push through everywhere. And yeah, there's not enough in the center for the God Emperor to murder that, I think, so... He's under pressure in the south, he's under pressure in the north. It's a 13-11, it's 4-28, so... Yeah, maybe there's still hope if he pushes in the center and gets flexed for long enough, maybe gets a cheeky 59 for while again, like for a couple of seconds. In the center? No, the Pioneers will just stop that from occurring. But maybe the 59 here for a couple of seconds. That goes into a 13-11. Like, that could be enough. Like, 4 minutes, I don't quite see, but like, if it's only 2 minutes, I could see that absolutely. I think 4 minutes might still be enough for Williger to get back, as he, yeah, now pushes hard on the north. And also, like, yeah, it will be straight to a 12-12 in a second. If he would hold the middle, it would keep him long on to a 13-11. So that would be really, really good. And absolutely necessary right now in the situation where we're at. Because this flag here is under pressure, and when this flag falls, it's back to a 12-12. And yeah, 12-12 is obviously always horrible for the Vanguard player. And it's even a 13-11 for Williger. So this game is derailing once more as well. Williger on a good way. Victory. The God Emperor in a lot of trouble. Panzer Force. Engaging Panzer Force in the south. That goes well so far for Williger as well. Yeah, even gets the penetration there. Gets a bit lucky there. Not even getting penetrated once here onto his Panzer IV leader. Keeps up to 13-11. Pushes in the north. Everywhere. Reinforces in the center. And yeah, he just has so many forces on the map right now. Then I will also start to fast forward this one, because I have to go in a couple of minutes, so that's the reason why I will, because I have training, a bit of fitness training now, my team, so yeah, this game is gone for the God Emperor once more. Way closer though than game number 1, I think, even though, like, yeah, Williger did a good job of trying to messing up in game number 2, and like God Emperor, just like Shadowhunter, doesn't give up. So that's a really nice show of willpower there by him, but it just didn't went good enough in the early games, in both games. Vanguard really seemed to struggle in the lower divisions, with just the timings not being quite as sharp as they are in the higher tier divisions, and the defensive play being a bit better overall. So Williger in the end here with a 16-8 on the way to victory. A lot of half-tracks showing up once more. Panzer IVs everywhere. They got over the last effort push here in the north, which could actually go a bit, but not really. And yeah, on the SDKFZ's again, bad timing there. SDKFZ's pushing into Panzer IV without the support of other tanks is not what you want to have happen. Panzer IV is straight out here. SDKFZ once more caught out alone, and Williger on the way to an 18-6. Yes, he could have just roll over the south as well. God Emperor winning the skies again, but the tank battles this time didn't went his way, and yeah, Williger just seems to be a bit better in when it comes to the clean play, and yeah, if he keeps his distance from King Tigers, I'm pretty optimistic that Williger also will have a chance in the semifinals against Sir Daniels. If he works a bit more on his traits and like keeps off units like that. And God Emperor surrenders here. So GGVP, 2 Villiger in a 2-0 victory. 2 clean victories today. Caroxos in game number 1, beating Shadowhunter 2-0. And 2-0 victory for Villiger in game number 2. But there were close games in both series, so good show by the God Emperor and Shadowhunter, and more luck to them next season. As of now, we will focus on to the semifinalists coming up in future streams. For now, I want to say thank you guys for every one of you watching. I will send you over to someone. Let's see, is there really nobody online to raid? Let's see Twitch. Is there really nobody online? Okay, that's interesting. Really nobody online, okay. Anyone else doing Steel Division? No. Cards. No. Oh yeah, no, there's someone. Okay, so we will send you over to Lotto.tv. Okay, so that's the guy. Enjoy some cards, guys. For now, thank you for watching, stay positive, and see you all next time.